Hello. After when we finish your seam, hold on a minute, I'm just going to make sure it's all focused. After when you finished your hem, we're going to continue working on the lining. So lining from the front, we flip over, and as I said before, the lining should be more slightly larger, slightly bigger. So I create that by trying to match my seam allowance lining and the top fabric. So by creating a little bit extra along the lining, and also similar we do along the skirt. So I'm going to use the single thread of my tacking thread, and I'm going to get my thimble, tack my lining to the that side seam. Same as we did previously with quite big stitchings along that line. We're attaching the side panel to the lining of the side panel to the top side panel. There we go. So you can feel my seam allowance here, so I'm just following the seam allowance to that point and just secure the thread. There we go. So that's done. The next part would be doing a similar way, but working on the skirt. And the first thing, I'm going to just move that slightly so you can see on there. See that? So I've got extra line, my seam allowance finished, and I'm going to fold my lining underneath, and also just have extra lining here. Make sure it doesn't pass the actual coat, the actual morning coat at the bottom, see that? But I also have like a tiny, like 5 millimeters little pleat here. So I'm going to fold that, and I'm going to tack lining in place. So you baste my lining, you know, so make sure it's not too much, but you have a little bit of that extra lining in order to so it doesn't pull you up. So I'm going to stop. So I'm going to go to my pleat there. So that's my pleat here, and I'm going to stop attaching the lining here. So that side is attached. Now I'm going to create a little extra extra lining here, and I'm going to put the basting thread along the lining, along my pleat. So can you see my pleat is here? So I'm going to tuck my lining to that pleat, so you can feel it with your fingers as well. So I'm attaching along that again with the big tucking stitchings goes through that. I'm attaching the lining. Now I secure my thread. Perfect. That's done. The next stage would be too much lining. We're actually going to cut that. Otherwise, the another part of the lining from the back will be here, and it just will create just bulk. So what I usually do, I just fold my lining, as you see, so right to the where the pleats finish. So my pleats finish about here. So fold lining to that line so you can feel it. And before I cut, you can mark with the chalk so you can see where I'm going to cut. So I'm going to cut that way. If you are, again, if you are not confident enough, you just can cut to the grey line, to the grey linen tape. So just going to do that. So I don't want to have too much fabric here as well. Okay, I'm just going to cut to that point there. So can you see that? So going to cut that away. So what we're cutting is actually your pleat, because we don't need pleat in the lining. The lining is controls the pleat from the top fabric, and we just cut that away. Okay, so can you see that? So I've done, and then got too much here as well, so you can see where's my seam allowance finished on actual yeah, so you can see that it's got too much seam allowance here, so I'm just going to trim that so they're not interfere as well, because otherwise when there's too much fabric going on, it's going to create a bulb. I've got a little bit here, but I'm going to leave it in some places, and now you're going to cut in stages if I needed to. So again, if you're not sure, like I'm going to leave some extra here, and we'll cut it later if it's necessary. Perfect. It's very, very good. And I show you how to apply the rest of your lining. See you next time. Bye.